If you don't mind me asking, what was the charge that originally started sending you to prison?
Carnal knowledge.
And for those who may not know what that is, what is that?
Having sex with a minor.
I'm sitting here with Nick, a guy who just came home from prison. Literally, how long have you been home from prison now?
About 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks.
2.5 weeks, that's...
June 28th.
I mean, my God, man, you're really like just coming home. How long did you serve while you were in there?
4 years.
And where were you at?
I left from Sussex 1. I've been in Greensville, I was at Marion this time around. Last few times I was at Wallen's Ridge, Augusta, Brunswick, Nottoway. I've been in Greensville twice, Sussex 1 3 times.
Yeah, all of these prisons that you're mentioning, these are maximum security prisons.
Yeah.
How old are you?
36.
Will you explain a little bit about what happened in this situation that led to you getting this charge?
I met 2 different girls within 2 weeks. I didn't even know neither one of them. I met them the same day. We had sex, one time, and then 2 weeks later another one. And I got locked up in a pawn shop for I was accused of selling some air compressor, but then they found out that I didn't sell it to them. But the police was already there, and they got me for a weed charge and a book bag with some checks in it or something. And they took me to jail, gave me the weed charge, and while I was there, they served me with the carnal knowledge cases. Pretty much while I was locked up, they gave me 4 years. I already had 3 years, 9 months suspended for some other stealing shit. And they gave me the 4 years and ran the concurrent 4 years on the violation, 4 years for the carnal knowledge charges. They ran them concurrent, gave me a 4 year sentence. While I was down, I threw some water, and it hit the police. I got another year for that. That bid, I wound up doing 5 years, a month, and 27 days.
I want to go back to the carnal knowledge charge, though. How old were you when you caught this charge?
I was 18.
And how old were the girls that you were accused?
One was 15, one was 13.
You know, with a charge of that caliber, what was time like for you if people found out that was what your charge was?
Well, I mean, nobody never found out. Only a couple people knew, really, and they ain't really give me no problems for it. I mean, it is what it is. I was just a youngin', really. But, you know, it ain't easy for other people with more serious stuff like that, sex crimes.
Right.
You know, and some people, they don't take it lightly, but, I mean, if you know, prison is what it is, what you make of it. So, me, I just ain't gonna fall for any of that bullshit.
So with that charge, you say you served, what, 5 years altogether?
No, I served way more than 5 years. The first bid, I did 5 years, a month, and 27 days. Then I came out, got a violation. I did a year and change that time. Then I did a second, came out, absconded again, got another violation. That was my third jump, and I wound up doing 2 years for that one. Then on my fourth one, which I just did, 4 years for. So altogether, I think I've done 11 years behind the carnal knowledge, 1 year behind a fail to register, and then little pieces here and there where it don't count towards prison bids. Probably put in over 15 years.
Since the age of 18, you've served about 15 years altogether for all of this.
Yeah, altogether.
You know, let's talk a little bit about what life is like for you coming home from prison. Let's just talk about in the past. What has it been like for you trying to find a job, trying to find a place to live?
In the past, it ain't been hard for a job per se, but finding a place to live is insane. Like, I'll have a home, I'll have a place to live. I come home, my wife, my kids, all of that. But the probation office tell me I can't even be around my own children, which is insane. So they'll turn my home plan down. A couple times, with the one PO on my second violation, when I come home, she told me I had to go live in a shelter. That's why I went on the run the second time. She told me I was living in the house. She approved my address coming from prison. But then when I told her that my kids was there and everything, which she should have known that, she told me I had to go to a shelter.
And you just said, you know, you're not going to the shelter.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna go stay in Norfolk in the shelter. Come be out at 6 in the morning. Come be in there by 4 or 5 o'clock. How am I gonna get a job, work, do anything, even make it? And I got children. I'm not just gonna run from my children. That's crazy.
You know, people who may see this may think, you know, because of your charges, you're a horrible person. Is that something that you've dealt with in the past?
Sometimes. Everybody, most people are understanding. I mean, if ain't nobody been 18 messing around with a young girl, or if they say they haven't, they're probably lying. So there ain't nobody too different from me. The people that be different from anybody will be somebody that will mess with children, you know, do violating little babies, jumping on women and stuff, taking it from them. Man, I lay down with 2 young girls, man. I ain't proud of it or nothing, but I won't on top of them forcing them to do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Just when you're young, you just do things, and if I would have been older like now, I wouldn't be doing nothing like that. You can bring myself around those young girls.
So that brings up a good point with what you're mentioning right there. Obviously, you have a lot of regret for this situation being what it is.
Of course, you know. Regret for everything. My children been punished for something they ain't even had nothing. They weren't even in existence when it happened. You know? And I got a 14-year-old daughter. I be thinking about what might happen to my child too, you know what I'm saying? She a young girl too. I wouldn't want someone to do that to her. Now I'm in an age where I understand not only why it was wrong, but why I wouldn't want it to happen to my child, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't want anyone to do that to them. I was just young. When you make immature decisions at that age, you know, how you gonna be held to it for the rest of your life?
And that's exactly what's going on in your case. You're being held to it. As a matter of fact, I mean, it couldn't be any better the way that you just worded it right there. Because when I first came up and met you, I'm seeing what's on your ankle right here. And what is this?
It's GPS. I gotta carry this around. I can't go more than 50 feet from it. And it has a habit of just saying it'll go off with an alert saying go home. Like I'm sitting in my living room last night watching TV, and it goes off and says go home. Potentially, if they don't realize there's a malfunction, that insinuates I'm doing something wrong. I'm not where I'm supposed to be. But this makes me say that they say I got to be in by 10 at night to 5 in the morning, and I got to carry this for at least 6 months. All because I didn't register my address. I never ever been in trouble for doing anything where they would have to keep a satellite on me at all times. The worst thing I ever done, besides this calling knowledge, is steal something. And that's been 18 years.
So no drugs, alcohol, nothing like that?
I don't use drugs, I don't drink. I don't fool nothing.
Now let me ask you this about the monitoring. Do you have to pay for that?
Yeah, I got to give them $100.
How often?
No, just $100. I mean, it's not expensive. I just got to pay them $100 before they take me off it. Between now and when it's time to come off it.
But that can be a lot of money for somebody who's struggling, just coming home.
And all my children, I got 6 children.
6 kids.
$100 to buy them food, whatever.
You mentioned earlier how you just came home. You said what, June?
June 28th.
June 28th. I mean, it's only the middle of July right now. And you just came home from doing how much time?
3 years, 8 months, and like 2 weeks, to be exact.
And you said you came home from where?
Sussex 1.
And that's a level?
It's a level 4 now. It was a level 5. It's a Supermax. That's its classification, no matter what level it changes to.
What was this time like for you? This last time that you just served?
This time, man, I'll tell you what, it was bad. It was bad. I lost my wife, my children, everything. I ain't had no contact with nobody for 3 years. The first few months, everything was cool. Everything gone. I ain't even get no pictures of my children in over 3 years. Couldn't even get a visit. How they do in the Virginia Department of Corrections now, if you got a sex offense, if you register as a sex offender, you can't even see your children. Like, you got to go through all this process, and they don't try to reach out to help you, connect you with your family. They make it hard. Like, they try to intentionally separate you from your family.
And, you know, just seeing how you're talking about this, I can tell you're really bitter and angry about this situation.
I'm mad as a bitch, man. I lost my wife and everything behind this shit, man.
What do you mean by you lost her?
She left me while I'm gone. She been with other people, not a lot of people. Like, it ain't like that. But she been with somebody for like 3 years, and then they broke up. She with somebody now, and she pregnant and everything by the motherfucker, man. Found never got locked up behind. I got locked up behind a fucking curfew violation. That's where my warrant came from for a curfew violation. Then I ran. That's why I got to fail to register. It all started behind a curfew violation. I'm working like 16-hour days. Come home 9, 10 o'clock at night. I can't even get a moment out the house. They ain't even let me live in my house at the time because my kids and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? They got me staying in some old dirty ass hotel room, Northampton Boulevard. You know, and I'm in the room with another dude that's got some really wild stuff. I looked him up myself because I want to know who I'm living in the room with.
He also had a sex offense as well?
Yeah, that's where they put him, and they put him in the hotel room. It used to be 90 days. The lady told me now it's 30 days.
How hard was it for you to get a home plan?
They never approve it. That one time the lady approved it because she didn't ever go check it. If she went to check it, she wouldn't have approved it because she would have seen that. She released me into a house that had kids there, and they told me I was going to get violated for it.
You were telling me something before we started filming that was just absolutely crazy for me to hear, but you told me, you said how life was easier for you while locked up and you wanted to go back. Is that something that you really mean?
Yeah, I mean that shit, man. I came out, when I was in there, I was destroyed this time, man. It destroyed me, losing my wife, contact with my children. Yo, that shit destroyed me, man. And now I come home and all this, I'd be ready to slice my motherfucking wrist every day, man. And people say that shit, man. I be for real, man. Like, I sliced my wrist 2 weeks after I got out in 2005.
That's unbelievable. I mean, I can see the scar right there.
That's real. I ain't just talking. And that's because shit was tough. Like, yo, I don't understand. Like, yo, I met people in prison who murdered people, man, and done less time than me and got it easier. I ain't no crybaby or nothing. I done what I done, but goddamn, man, 18 years. Yeah, I be ready to go back, man. I'm out here, all this shit going on every fucking day. Something don't go this way, I can go back. Something don't go that way, I can go back. I don't register an address. I miss a phone call. If I miss a meeting, you know what I'm saying? Anything. That's why I just be like, man, I just ready to just go back, man. I'd go back in there. I don't gotta sweat no more, man. I ain't even worried about prison. Prison ain't nothing, man.
With all of the time that you've served, I know you've had to have dealt with and seen some of the craziest shit you probably ever have in your life. Can you tell me anything that really stands out that you saw or went through yourself while being in prison?
One incident stands out real strongly. I ain't never forget it, really. I was at Sussex 1 in 2002, and I had a cell partner. Me and him used to make wine and shit. So I go to the kitchen, steal wine shit, stuff like orange, whatever to make it. Come back, he'd make it, you know, we split our little money or whatever. And one night we walking there, we didn't sell for a long time, a dude named Perm, he's from North. Walking down the boulevard, and you know, it walk a big crowd, you know what I'm saying? I ain't know previously early that day, there was a dice game in the pod, and one of the guys ran up a debt and he couldn't pay. So him and the dude going to sell, he tell the guy he gonna pay him. They get to wrecking. He beat the dude up that he owes, and he still telling me he gonna pay him. Well, the dude that got beat up, him and his partner, they get a piece. Go out, we walking down the boulevard, my cell partner, he come shove me to the side, told me to walk fast. As soon as he did that, I turned to the side. Man, they hit the dude in the ear with, I don't know how he made it. I know they hit him and kept on hitting him. I speed up to the front of the line, I get to the kitchen, get my tray, sit down, and here comes dude staggering in. He's sliding along the wall, bleeding and shit.
So they had stabbed him up. You said they stabbed him.
They hit him in the head. They hit him in the head. Like, man, they hit him a lot of times. I don't know how many really penetrated, but I know they fucked him up. They stab him like a motherfucker right now in Sussex 1 over phones, kiosks. You can't even, white man, me, I can't go in a pod unless I'm down. If I ain't in the gang, I'm dead. I ain't making no phone calls, and I'm gonna have to catch wreck. I'll put everything in jeopardy behind that.
So did you run with any gangs or?
I ain't in none of that shit. I'm with nobody. I'm by myself.
So when you went in there, you were automatically going to have to fight because of that?
Yeah, of course.
How many times did you fight, during the course of your last bid where you served 4 years?
This one, I actually didn't get into that many fights because, being at Greensville the way things were, at Sussex I left the phone alone, and I happened to know a couple people that helped me get the phone once a week because my sister-in-law started looking out for me, making it so I could talk to my kids right at the end of my bid. But I got in a couple fights. See, I've done so much time though that I don't have to do that shit. Like, I know how to conduct myself, and generally dudes don't do a lot of moving against nobody because they got their partners. They ain't gonna make no moves by themselves. Most people ain't. So
when it comes to fighting, they're jumping.
Yeah. So I ain't saying I dodge. I just avoid certain groups of people, man. I figured I just know how to walk. I know how to walk around, man, and avoid all the bullshit. I mean, fuck, feel like half my fucking life in there. I just know how to do it. And if somebody did fuck with me though, I just don't play fair. I'm gonna sneak their ass. So, knowing that, I just try to avoid any bullshit because I'm gonna have to go all the way.